All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing order of operations, which you've seen for years before. So this is a lot. We're still doing a review, but I want us all to have the same definition for order of operations. So if I talk too fast, if I go too fast, pause this video and slow it down so you can write the definition out. But in your notes for the definition, here's what I want. I want you to say that the order of operation is rules to follow when simplifying an expression that contains multiple operations. Order of operations. It's rules to follow when simplifying an expression with multiple operations. And I use that word simplify because I'm not solving. And if I had an equal sign here, I would be solving for something. But because there's no equal sign, I'm simplifying. And a lot of you guys had a question on the quiz about, what do you mean simplify? It means break it down till you can break it down no more. And if you know you're good at order of operations, what I would suggest to you is just do a few of these examples and then come back and make sure that we have the right answers, because maybe you don't need that much help in order of operations. And that's all I'm going to be doing in these few videos is to go through these examples with you. So let's look at number one. I'm sorry. So we have the definition for order of operations, but what's that acronym? And I know you guys probably remember PEMDAS. And the P stands for parentheses, E stands for exponents, multiplication and division, and then when you have a multiplication and division, we just read it left to right, and addition and subtraction, it's the same thing. Some of you may have memorized it by Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally. PEMDAS, it doesn't really matter. We just want to make sure that we're doing it correctly. All right, so now let's look at example one together. I'm going to do a check in my head. I'm going to do parentheses first. There are no parentheses, so I can't do parentheses. Exponents, no exponents. But I do have multiplication and division. When you get to this step and there's division and multiplication, we're going to read it from left to right. So here I have 54 divided by 3, which is going to be 18. So now I have 7 plus 18 times 2, because that's the operation that I did, 54 divided by 3. I still have multiplication up here, so I'm going to do 36, and then 7 and a positive 36 is going to be 42. So my answer should read, 43. So my answer should read 43. 36 plus 7 is 43. Okay, if we're good with that, let's look at, I'm going to try and move you over. I guess you can see that one. Okay, so over here, I'm going to go through the orders. I don't have parentheses. I do have exponents. And remember, we've talked about this. Because negative 4 is not inside those parentheses, I am just squaring the 4. So I get 16. So it's going to look like 24 minus 16 times 3 plus 15. Now I have multiplication. So I can do a negative 16 times a positive 3, and that would give me a negative 48. So now I have 24 minus 48 plus 15. Now, commutative property says I can add and subtract these any way I want, as long as I keep my signs the same and what they need to look for. So I can do 24 and 15 to get me 39, and do 39 minus 48, and that still is going to give me a negative 9. I have more negatives than positives. I have 9 more negatives. So my answer here is going to be negative 9. All right, let's look at this last one. I'm going to turn it, and I hope you can still see it. Okay, so order of operations says parentheses first. I don't have any exponents. I do. 9 squared is 81. So 81 plus 28 divided by 4 minus the absolute value of negative 18. 28 divided by 4 is going to give me 7. So I have 81 plus 7 minus the absolute value of negative 18. I know the absolute value of negative 18 is 18, but I bring down this negative in front of it, and I start 81 plus 7 minus 18. And I can do this commutative property says I can add any way I want, as long as my signs stay the same. So 81 plus 7 is 88. 88 minus 18 is going to give me positive 70. Okay? So that's the end of video 1. We're just going to go through these examples together. That's how we're going to do the videos for order of operations. So come back and join me so you can check your answers.